I was vehement that you were wrong. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the live button now.
All right.
Okay, I think we're live. I don't know if everything is coming through fine. So, howdy to everybody that's in the chat. Welcome to the new year. We're going to be starting a podcast very soon. If we could get some yays or nays on the audio and the video this time, because I'm looking at the preview in YouTube right now, and it's 360p or 360p. So I'm hoping that's not for everybody.
No, it's 1080p 60 for me.
Okay, good. Because man, are we blurry? And I have my glasses on. Everybody's saying we're good, so we got some yays. Welcome, everybody. Happy 2023.
Dude, you said glasses, and that just reminded me. I haven't taken my contacts out in 3 days. That's a problem.
That can't be good.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to sleep with those things in, man.
It's fine.
It's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be
when
fine.
When they're fused to my eyeballs, it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, like I'll have just like permanent contacts. Wait, is that like? Well, no, that's just LASIK.
So I don't know if they're any good or not, but they advertise on TV ones that you can leave in all the time.
Well, I mean, the ones that I have in, like I'm supposed to be able to leave in for a certain amount. Like I can't remember how long it is. Like I think it's like a week or something like that. But even then, like the optometrist or like, you know, whoever it is that like gave it to me was like, you still shouldn't. And I was like,
when you enter REM at night, your eyes go back and forth really, really fast, and that makes them, you know, irritate your eyes.
Yeah. We'll be good. It'll be good. But yeah. By the way, Matt, we need to do this because I don't think we've actually talked since like the New Year and Christmas. I know we've sent messages, but like, Happy New Year, man. I hope you had a fantastic Christmas. Hope you and your family were good.
Oh, I did. I had a wonderful New Year as well, much as could be possible. Hope you had a good New Year and Christmas as well. Got yourself a new calendar. I saw that. You can't show that on stream.
Yeah. Yes. What he's talking about for everyone in chat is like before we went live, I turned my camera around and for Christmas, so every year my aunt gets me a new calendar, and every month of the calendar is just like it's got a picture at the top with a dog taking a deuce, and so every month is just a different dog taking a deuce.
It's done very classily. Okay, it's very classy. Thank you, Isaac, for the super chat. I don't recommend anyone run that command. But if you run that command, you'll have a lot of fun, guaranteed. Don't listen to that guy. Okay.
All right. Like I'm not saying it's a good idea. You'll just have a lot of fun. Like,
what would happen if you did that on Mac? Would that work on Mac?
I don't know. We could. You
should try it. Okay.
I'm so not going to do that.
Oh, you should definitely do that on camera.
I would love it if I just started running it and the stream just like cuts out on my end. It's just like, well, Tyler's gone. He may come back.
It died. And then he died. It's like this, you know, when a tab dies in Chrome, you get that Jim is dead graphic. Yep. That comes up. Tyler is dead. All right. You ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and hit record in Audacity. Oh, balls. Hold on a second.
Did you break Audacity?
Everything reset. Like now all of a sudden I'm back into mono for whatever reason, or back into stereo when I need to be mono. This is Matt testing in Audacity, ensuring that he's recording through the right microphone. Bamity bam 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 bam. Sorry to everybody who just listened to that. I just slapped the mic like I can't even say the word anymore. Thank you, YouTube. I can't even say the word. All right.
I was 100% really hoping that you were going to say that you forgot that you had like changed systems or something and you didn't have Audacity installed.
No, I was all
But
ready to go, but while I was waiting for you to come online, I got this bright ass idea. Decided, hey, I'm going to install an Audacity theme because the white theme's bothering me. And the problem is that the place where you install Audacity themes doesn't exist when you use the Flatpak version. So I had. I created that folder, and then all of a sudden now Audacity has completely reset itself to whatever. It's not great. It's not great. But it's okay. It's working. All right. Now you're ready to go.
yes, sir.
Why do I just have issues with my gear? Because it's the way things work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially when we're talking audio in Linux. Like, bless Linux's heart, it's not really a Linux issue. It's just the audio solutions for Linux. They're just they're great. Like don't get me wrong, Audacity's fantastic. It really is great. But Audacity is not always perfect. It likes to change settings, which I don't know about you, Matt, but I don't really know that you can blame that on Audacity. That might just be a Pipewire / Pulse issue.
Oh no, it was definitely my fault because I did that theme stuff. That's my fault. If I hadn't created that folder, it would still be the same. It would still be working.
So what you're saying is customization is the root of this issue.
Yes. All right.
That cannot be the case.
Are you recording?
No, but I can be.
You should be recording because I'm recording.
All right. I am now.
All right. You can do the claps whenever you like.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, we still got it. That's good.
Yes, sir.
All right. I want the dude. Tyler, you just have a natural high face. You know that resting bitch face that everybody says? Damn it. Told you it was going to happen. You have a resting high face.
Well, today he's not wrong. I have a pin and I did hit it a while ago. It's fantastic. So
you should have got you should have had the lava lamp bong.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, my mom actually, okay, so this is another present that I got for Christmas, but my mom got me a lava lamp and it looks like a bong, and she actually did want me to set it up behind me.
You always on camera.
Yeah. But yeah, it's over there. Like there's no space for it back here anyway. But,
all right, let's go ahead and get started. For those of you who are watching after the stream ends, there will be timestamps. I always say this like after you've already listened to like 15 minutes of us BSing. So I apologize for that, but there will be timestamps after the stream ends. They usually show up around 8:00 p.m. Eastern time. That part's not going to change. So if you want to watch this afterwards, or if you have to come back or whatever, you can jump to the place where you left off, whatever happens to be. So those things will appear. Also, if you notice, we're trying not to swear because YouTube has these new rules that basically say you can't swear and still make any money. So already you notice that I've already slipped up one time. There is a running pot on how often we swear in this episode. All proceeds go to Matt's pocket. I was gonna say to charity, but I am charity.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
Well, I mean, I think we are the best charity around.
Yes,
you know,
indeed.
come
on. Okay, so that's it for the pre-show announcements. Let's go ahead and get started. See if I remember how to do this. It's been like 3 weeks, so you're gonna be surprised if I even remember the name of the podcast. There we go. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Linux Cast. I'm your host, Matt.
And I'm Tyler.
Yes, he is. So welcome to season 7 of the Linux Cast. That's just absolutely bonkers. For those of you who are keeping score, we started the podcast in 2017. You're wondering, Matt, there's some math there that doesn't really add up. Well, there was one year that we did like 3 seasons. It's okay. Just don't think about it too hard. It's going to be all right. But yes, this is season 7, episode 1. Welcome to 2023, such as it is. It is another, I think I made this joke last year. We made it around the sun one more time, which is, good. Yeah, gosh dang it. Dadgum it. I'm never going to remember the replacement words. Although I used to, like when I was a teenager, my mom went through this phase where she didn't want us to swear anymore because she was worried about something. I don't even remember what. So every time I wanted to say the F word, I said bah humbug instead. So it was like the middle of July, and I was like, bah humbug. It was horrible. I was like 12 years old. God, that was a long time ago. All right. So this is the Linux Cast. We talk about Linuxy things. Normally we do news. We talk about the news, but this time we're doing predictions. So before we jump into those, we're going to discuss a little bit about what we've been doing. But I just want to, before we jump into anything, just point out the fact that I listened to that entire prediction episode from last year and was constantly amazed at how wrong we were. Yep. We were so bad. Also, Isaac, thanks for another super chat. Also, nobody put that in your terminal. Don't do that. He keeps giving people commands you should not run. Hard. Don't do that. I'm giving really bad commands, man. It's just going to freeze everything up. All right. Also, if you want to see what that command does, watch my video on it. I did that on camera on purpose.
Well, when it comes to what you were talking about with our predictions from last time, I got to be honest, our last one was hard to watch, especially like for me when I was talking. Like it was rough. Like I was extremely surprised at how consistently bad my predictions were.
Your last prediction was hilarious given the fact how the year turned out, especially how much of a fanboy of that product you actually ended up becoming. It was so bad. Anyways, if you want to know more, you're just gonna have to stick around and wait because it's gonna be good. You guys are gonna laugh at how wrong we were when our predictions. Anyways, Tyler, what have you been doing in the last 3 weeks that has been doing with tech? What's going on?
So I've mainly been working on a mainly Python solution, surprisingly. I mean, not really necessarily surprisingly, but I was expecting to do the project in a couple of different ways, but ended up going with Python. But I've been building an automation like scheduling software for a social media marketing company that me and a few other guys started. So I've been working on that like a lot. It's been honestly a lot of fun. The only thing that I will say is like having to work with a Facebook API is really annoying, like exceptionally annoying. I also was able to find out this is very fun, but I don't know if you know this or not, but Facebook won't allow you to read their documentation on the API without having a Facebook account. Like, why?
That doesn't surprise me.
Oh, why would you? But like, it's so upsetting. Like, there's so much stuff about Facebook that upsets me, but yeah, that's what I've been working on. It's been a lot of fun. And then me and my sister with our dog walking and mainly just pet care business. We've been doing really well, and we're also potentially looking at opening up a boarding facility. And so that'll mean this kind of scheduling software will be really handy there. So it's been a lot of fun. Been working on it and just trying to decide what we're going to do with it in the long term, how we're going to make it work. But yeah, what about you? What you been up to, man?
Well, I don't know. I wrote something down here. So I've been working on, so funnily enough, you've been getting into social media. I've been reducing my social media output. So I still have a Twitter, but I don't tweet to it anymore. So that's gone. I've moved almost all of my social interaction to Mastodon. And I used to spend an awful lot of time on YouTube, like watching a whole bunch of channels. And then I'd get into the rabbit hole of watching the algorithm stuff that they suggested to you, right? You'd go to the homepage and you say, "Ooh, that looks good," and then it's just one video after another, over and over again, right? So there is a way to take the any channel you want and turn it into an RSS feed. So I've done that for all of the channels that I've subscribed to and put it into Newsboat, so that I only watch the videos of the channels that I care about. I no longer get into the algorithm stuff that YouTube gives me, and I don't go down that rabbit hole anymore, and I watch way less YouTube than I used to. Like, I still watch the channels that I care about, but I don't ever discover anything new, because I'm only watching from the channels that I, have subscribed to in the past. So, yeah, it's surprising how much time I've noticed that I've saved by not messing around on YouTube so much. So that's been pretty good. I've also been doing the same thing with other sites, with Reddit and stuff, where I used to spend a lot of time on Reddit. So I've taken some of the bigger subreddits that I follow and put them into RSS feeds. Problem with Reddit, though, is that like half the stuff that I did on Reddit was like images, like Unix porn. Unix porn is pretty useless in a RSS feed, because at least in an RSS feed that is in the terminal, where you can't see images. So it's kind of not as good there. But yeah, that's basically what I've been doing most of the, like, just in my free time. Also tonight I start my Python course, so that should be fun. We both have something to do with Python, yeah. So I'm going to be starting my Python course this evening, so that should be fun.
Wait, hold on. Are you doing the 6-hour free one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that one. That one's actually, it's really, really good. I will just say though, if you're like me, do not forget that there is an option to go 1.5 times speed through it, because it's a really long course, and it's not like you talk slow. There is a lot covered there, but trust me when I say I didn't have any issues watching through it at that speed, and it does help get through it much faster, because let's be honest, 6 hours is a lot of time, but yeah, it's a fantastic course. It really is good.
Well, I plan on breaking it up into several days, maybe even a week or so, and just doing it I'm not doing it for a job or anything. I'm just doing it because what I want to do is be able to develop something like in my own. It doesn't even matter what. That way, the next time we talk about something regarding developers, I can no longer have to say, I'm not a developer, but this way, I'm a developer. I was going to swear, but I stopped myself. I did it all right.
Hey, anyway, if you stopped yourself, you're doing good. You're doing good.
I hate the filter, man. You got to self-filter. It's worse on the podcast because everything's live. Anyways.
Hey, well, as long as we think about it through this perspective, we're good. We're not dirtying the minds of children. That's why we're doing it. See,
if you first of all, you have to be 13 years old to have a YouTube account. So, granted, you don't have to be 13 years old to watch YouTube, but you do have to be 13 years old. Granted, I've never really understood that. Like, we all know that kids are dumb, but they're smart enough to lie on that form that says their age, right? We all know this.
Well, and also, especially if you know somebody with a 7-year-old kid, you also know that kid's on YouTube. It's just what's happening.
So, all right. So I've talked about this before. My mom watches Dr. Phil every day. She can't stand the guy, but she likes watching him, right? The other day he had an episode on the TikTok challenges, and apparently there's this TikTok. There's a couple of them that are freaking really stupid. There I go. Didn't filter that one, did I? Yep. I can't help it, but one of them is cars speeding down the highway 7 miles an hour. They crawl out of the window and stand on top of the car.
Oh, that's smart.
It's called car surfing. Don't do that, by the way. It's dumb. Okay. The second one is they'll either, it's called the blackout challenge. They'll either hold their breath until they pass out, and these are little kids, 4 or 5 years old, they'll choke each other until they pass out. Several of them have died. And they record this stuff. What? Those kids.
I just like the fact that I live in a version of this universe where somebody who is just in a regular old conversation with a buddy has to explicitly say that you probably shouldn't get out of a car going 70 miles an hour and stand on the top of it. Like,
don't do that.
like how does no one have common sense anymore? Like, how? What happened?
I people blame TikTok, but I don't like. You can't blame that all on TikTok. Some of, I mean, but it's. I think it's Facebook's fault because Facebook was first, right? The like that everybody wants the likes, and that's whatever. That's not the topic for today. We don't need to get into it. But it just when we're talking about kids being smart enough to lie to that thing, say they're 13 years old, just remind me like, yeah, kids are pretty stupid too. So, anyways, moving on to the contact information. Believe it or not, this stuff hasn't changed since the last time you listened, so it's basically going to be the same. So you can find all of our stuff at linuxcast.org. That's our website. There you'll find past episodes, all of season 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and most of all the first 4 episodes, which are in the vault, as Disney would say. Eventually those things will come out just like Bambi does every 20 years. It's gonna be great. Anyways, or the McRib if you're of the McDonald's persuasion, I guess. Anyways, the linuxcast.org is where you find all that stuff along with blog posts, which I do occasionally post. So it's a great place to browse. Also, there are comments there now, so you can go there and leave comments. You do have to, unfortunately, have a GitHub account to do so. So, unfortunately, there's no anonymous posting on the blog, and there's nothing I can do with that because I didn't want a heavy commenting system like Discuss or anything like that, where I had to put in a whole bunch of like JavaScript and stuff. This was like literally like 2 lines to put in comments on my blog, which is great. It's called Utterances. You guys should check it out. Anyways, totally off topic there. You can subscribe or you can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/linuxcast. You can subscribe to Tyler, who's on YouTube. Theoretically, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I made a video. I don't remember what I was talking about, but one of the B-roll things that I used was your channel, and over top of it was like, hello, anybody making content here? It was great. I was trolling you. I even knew you wouldn't watch. It was hilarious. That was so good. Anyways, Tyler is on YouTube at youtube.com/ZanyOG. He's also on Discord, and I believe he's on Odyssey, but nobody cares. He doesn't care about Odyssey anymore. Yeah, Tyler, subscribe to Tyler's channel. Maybe he'll eventually do some, Linux content. Also join his server and ping him every single day. Hey, Tyler, remember you have a YouTube channel. It's getting lonely. You're going to get a...
Oh, don't worry.
Anyways, that's Tyler's information. You can find all of this contact information at the linuxcast.org/contact. And don't forget to subscribe to Linuxcast on YouTube, youtube.com/linuxcast, where I post daily Linux content. All of it is absolutely amazing, and you guys shouldn't miss any. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon and all that stuff. #YouTuber. It's fantastic. Don't forget. Also, there's links to the store and the Amazon wish list and all that stuff in the video description if you want to find any of that stuff. So, everybody, so there's one guy who constantly reminds me to say this. So there's links to LiberaPay in the video description of all my videos. So if you want to support me through a place that's not Patreon or YouTube or whatever, you can do so there. Someone gives me 61 cents a week. I thank this person who gives me 61 cents a week. I don't know who you are because it says anonymous. So, thank you for your 61 cents a week. I have no clue where that 61 cents a week goes because I've never seen it, but apparently it is there somewhere. Maybe you have to withdraw it. I don't even know. That's how little I use LiberaPay. So that's the contact information. Now, every year since we started the podcast, we've been doing predictions. Now, last year was Tyler's first year, and we did predictions. And I'm struggling right now because my Borg-based backup says this wants to go, so I'm gonna have to type in my password. Which is great. It's fantastic. I love when just random stuff comes up. It's like half the time this doesn't even work, and it had to work right during the podcast. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Love it. Anyways, predictions. So last year was Tyler's first year, so we each did 3 Linux predictions, and you guys are just going to be so amazed at how wrong we were. Like it was so bad. So Tyler, your first prediction, my friend from last year. You want to read this thing out to us because we're gonna laugh our asses off.
Sadly. So, I said that last year was going to be the year that Element really took off. People stopped talking about Matrix and they implemented grid mode. All of which didn't happen.
It really didn't happen.
Like, as far as I know, they still haven't implemented grid mode. And I will pause for a second just so anyone can tell me that I'm wrong on that. If anyone
he really
has
wants
been using Matrix,
he really wants the point, at least like half a point.
I mean, I'll accept, like a quarter of a point at this moment. Like it's, but yeah, all right, for like the majority of the point, Element should have taken off, and it has absolutely not. Nowhere.
The best part
close.
about the prediction was that we were talking about Joe Rogan. Well, Joe Rogan made this other thing really super popular, and I was like, well, yeah, who do you think would do this for Element? Matt Damon. and then of course Matt Damon and Tom Brady and stuff get in trouble for that FTX stuff, so they can probably a good thing they can do Element. That was so good. Yeah, you were by the way, me telling you how wrong you were about this was the only thing that I got right.
Yeah. Actually, I remember watching that and I was like, well, Matt must have gotten something right. And then when I looked at the actual like list that we have in the show notes and everything was wrong, I was like, that's right. That wasn't an actual point. Like,
okay, so you guys remember that scene from Billy Madison? I think they're at the end of like the triathlon or whatever it is, and the principal's like, that is the most utterly moronic thing I have ever seen, ever heard in my entire life. Everyone in the room is now less intelligent for having heard of it. I award you no point, and may the Lord have mercy on your soul. God, that's such a great clip. I should watch that. I should watch it right now. Screw you. That's so good. Anyways, Tyler was wrong on that. 0 points. So my first one, surprisingly, was also wrong. I said that Solus would fold, as in not exist. That didn't happen. They're still chugging along. They're still just on the same version of Budgie they were at the beginning of the year, other than like a point release or something like that, which is not surprising. But it is still there. So nothing major new has happened with Solus, but they still exist. I thought that Solus would fold because like everybody was fleeing the project, but no, it's still there. I don't know anybody who uses it. Raise your hand in the live chat if you currently use Solus Linux. I'm guessing there's like one person like, hey, I use Solus, it's fantastic. Solus is like really good distro, but nobody I very, very rarely meet anybody who uses it. Honestly, I'd kind of be surprised if half the developers actually use it. It's one of those distros, right? Anyways, Zero Linux, thanks for the super chat. I'll read your prediction out later if that's okay. We'll put it at the end as a special hot take. Okay. So Tyler, your second one from last year.
Oh, my second one is distributions based on Ubuntu will no longer be based on Ubuntu, at least some of them. I can't remember. Which one did I use as an example?
Well, you talked about Linux Mint and how funny it would be if they moved away.
I was pretty sure I brought up Linux Mint, but I wasn't sure if I was all like, I don't know why. I think I saw something on Zorin like yesterday or maybe the day before, and that's why I'm thinking of Zorin, but I wasn't sure if I talked about Zorin. But yeah, like it would have been a good prediction if snaps hadn't have really just kind of faded in general. Like yes, people are still using snaps. Snaps are still definitely a thing, but snaps really aren't nearly as big of a focal point, I guess, in people like talking about problems they have in Linux anymore. It's normally not just a snap problem. So I think maybe if snaps had been more egregiously bad this year, maybe I'd been right there.
Yes.
Maybe some projects would have moved away.
The thing with snaps
But
is that they did get better a little bit. Like when they've finally when they moved Firefox to snaps, they realized that they had to make it faster because it was so utterly horrifically slow to load. So they finally had to fix the problem. Now that doesn't mean snaps are fast. It just means that they're about 50 to 60% faster than they used to be. So that was always the biggest problem, right? So yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
This one here, I don't remember commenting on it, but I do remember thinking like, there's no way that this is gonna. Mainly because I was I think you were talking about the derivatives, right? You're talking like Linux Mint, Zorin, and stuff like that. See, in my brain when I heard you say it, I thought you were talking about some of the flavors. I was like, there's no way that like Ubuntu Mate is going to go away from Ubuntu. I don't know why I was thinking that way, but that kept me from thinking that this right. One thing I will say though is that if you had meant that, you would have been closer to getting a point because Mate and Kubuntu and stuff have started to differentiate themselves in terms of Ubuntu by including Flatpak and stuff like that. So that could have been a partial point, but not getting that one. Sorry. Don't worry. We're gonna have some really big brown numbers at the end of I'm just gonna say. Okay, so the second one for me was Canonical will become more obsessed with Flutter. I thought for sure that they would have done more with Flutter, but honestly, for as much talk as they made about Flutter when they announced that they're going to do a new installer, they have done nothing with it. They have I mean, even you wouldn't think that an installer would take that long, but it's been 2 years since they started working on that installer. And I used it the other day or a couple weeks ago, and it looks, first of all, it looks exactly the same as the old installer. So any benefits they had from Flutter have to have been pure developmental, right? It had to have been something for the developers to be good, right? But also, like it shows no user benefit whatsoever, and it took 2 years. So either there's something wrong with Flutter, or they're not as enthusiastic as they thought that they were. Because, like I said, it took 2 years. Now, granted, they had an LTS in the middle of that, so they were probably focusing mostly on that. But still, it just feels like it took way too long for a installer that doesn't really provide anything new. But also, I thought that they would, like, the only other thing that happened with Flutter in the last year was that somebody rewrote the Snap Store in Flutter. That was the only other thing that I saw for regular base Ubuntu that happened. And that wasn't Canonical. That was somebody in the community that Ubuntu then adopted, right? They pulled that project in, but somebody else created it. So that was really weird. I
mean, they really, in all honesty, have not shown any enthusiasm towards Flutter in any other projects. No. Like it's just been the installer, and I mean that's about it. Like I've seen other stuff about Flutter. Like I've seen YouTube videos on Flutter and like people doing stuff with it, but not like Canonical.
Martin Wimpress is working on a desktop environment, a brand new desktop environment, because first of all, that's exactly what we need, is another desktop environment. But he's building one with one of his partners or whatever in Flutter, and so that's the only other thing I've heard about Flutter since then. It's the Google and Flutter, or the Canonical and Google partnership on Flutter, that was really hard to say, was put into place when he was the desktop lead. So it's very possible that he was the one that was so into Flutter, but now that he's not at Canonical anymore, Canonical doesn't really care anymore. But I don't know if you feel like this, but I mean, I think we've talked about this before, but it feels like every year that we go on, Ubuntu or Canonical becomes less and less interested in the actual Ubuntu desktop. Like it feels like every year it just becomes more and more like, who cares? Like even inside of Canonical, like it feels like they don't care. Like the desktop lead for Ubuntu was always somebody that the community really knew. Now I couldn't tell you his name. Like I'm sure that he's somebody someone who interacts with the community a lot, but I just couldn't tell you his name. But before that, I could tell you exactly who the desktop lead for Ubuntu was, and then before that, I could tell you the name. Now I can't. So it just feels like they're, I don't know. It doesn't feel like Ubuntu is dying. It just more feels like it is meh. Like nobody cares, even Canonical, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was not a point, by the way. That did not happen. So Tyler, your third one. This is a good one, guys. Listen to this. This is great. Yeah. The third one for Tyler was fantastic.
Yeah. So if you ever want proof that I'm not a complete, like, egomaniac, narcissist, or anything, let me just demonstrate how completely and utterly stupid and like idiotic I can be. And hopefully I will learn from this. The Steam Deck will see most people running Windows on
it. The thing is that I would have...
Why did I say this?
I'm pretty sure I agreed with you at the time. I was like, it made 100% sense because there was no way that Valve was going to get enough Linux games to work on the Steam Deck in order for it to be good. So that they were going to... And because that was absolutely going to happen, I think we both thought that they were going to have to put enough work into Windows development in order to get that to work on the device. But wrong.
Yeah, like so wrong. Like not only did Valve do a good enough job that most people don't want to install Windows on it, Windows themselves was so bad that for I think a majority, like after they came out with the initial drivers, I'm pretty sure like there was really horrible, I can't remember what it was, like power management or something. It was some aspect of the drivers.
The audio wouldn't work. Like, there was no audio. There was no audio.
Yeah. Oh,
I think that they did that on purpose because there's been a meme in the Linux community about audio sucking out Linux. Like, here you go, Windows, no audio.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just, it is one of those things where like, it's sad that I can understand me making that, but also like, come on, have some faith. Like, of course it would all work out.
It's more funny that you went on to like the device so much when you bought one, right?
Yeah.
Like the fact that you ended up liking it so much, and you probably didn't even consider putting Windows on it, did you?
No.
I didn't think so.
Not at all. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the vast majority of people. They just use it, and if they've come across a game that doesn't work, they just move on, give themselves a refund, and move on. I laughed out loud when I was listening. I was like, there's no way.
Well, and I mean, also like the ironic thing too is I haven't even changed the distribution on it. Like I've tried, but there's some quirks with other distributions, and a lot of them like it wasn't until a few months ago or whatever when Valve added some support for all of the device parts and stuff in the base Linux kernel. So some other distributions weren't fully compatible with the device. But really, in all honesty, like Valve's own Linux system is so dang good. There's really not much reason to change. And like, I didn't expect Valve to get it so right. Like, good on them.
No. Yeah, I'm surprised that they... Sorry, apparently the dog's coming to visit.
Oh, good.
I don't know why she wants to come in here. She's just going to want to leave. Hi. I'm in the middle of something. Hello.
She's like, not anymore. Not anymore.
Hold on a second. Where are you going? This is ridiculous. Hi. Okay. Windows 11 just sucks now. That's Nate. All right. So here we go. Moving on to the next part. So this is where it gets fun. We're going to do 3 new predictions for 2023. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I missed one. I missed my last one. Sorry. For last year, I said that the Discord would have a big scandal. That didn't happen. I, honestly, that's the one that I thought. Like, I usually choose one that I know is going to happen for sure, so I at least get 1 point. It didn't happen. It just,
Yeah, I expected that one to happen. It is very surprising that Discord has made it without any major scandals.
well,
Like,
I mean, I thought that there. I mean, because I mean, there. If you pay attention, like outside of the Linux space is actually fairly self-contained, and most people are fairly well behaved. Like, yes, we have trolls, but if you look at my ban list on my Discord, I have like 6 people that I've ever banned in like 2 years.
yeah.
You know, and I think like 3 of them are the exact same person. I'm pretty sure. But if you expand outside of the Linux space in the Discord's, community and join other servers, especially in like fandom, right? If you get into like Harry Potter and stuff like that, fandom, like there's some atrocious crap there, and it just seriously, some of the stuff is so bad, and I just figured some of that stuff would have to come back and bite them because you just see some nasty stuff in other servers. Thank God it doesn't come to Linux all that much, but still, it's pretty bad. I think some of the reason why it has gotten a little bit better is because of Automod. So I know the people in my Discord hate Automod because it literally doesn't allow them to say anything nasty, but we don't want the server to get banned. Sorry, folks. Anyways, that was my last one. It did not happen. So let's count out the points for last year, shall we? Let me get my calculator out. Oh yeah, that's right. We got 0 points. 0 points. God, I hope we do better this year. That's just embarrassing.
Look, this year is going to be better. Okay, it's going to be better.
There's his first prediction, by the way. If he gets that one wrong, we get all of them wrong next year. Okay, so moving on. Now we can move on to the 2023 predictions. So like I said, we've each come up with 3 predictions for this upcoming year. I will go first, and then Tyler, you can go next. Okay, so my first one for the 2023 is that Valve will not. This is by the way is the one that I'm sure I'm going to get right. I'm absolutely 100% positive. Valve will not release a Steam Deck 2 this year. I guarantee. I would bet money on this that they will not do this.
Well, I think that's a little cheeky though, because like I think there's probably a chance that they might announce one. I mean, it'll still be towards the middle of the year at best. But
okay, let me put a proviso on it so that we can make a judgment next year if this happens. If they announce one, I'm wrong. Okay, because I'm saying they won't even announce it this year.
Okay,
I would go so far as to say they won't announce or release one next year, but I'm not as confident about that. Because Valve, man, Half-Life 3. Need I say more? Also, the Index is now like 5 years old or 4 years old, something like that. They have not released a sequel. It's still like $1,000. When you have like the Quest 2, whatever the hell it is, it's like $300. So I'm not confident that they'll even ever do a Steam Deck despite its popularity, or Steam Deck 2 is what I should say. But it definitely won't happen this year. So that's my first one. You have thoughts on that, Tyler, or are you disagreeing with me?
I don't know. I think it might happen. But I think you're there. I think there's a good chance that you'll end up right. Nate
asked, didn't they already announce the Steam Deck 2? They did not announce it, but they've hinted that that they are working on it. So it's possible that I.
All right, look. Let's be completely fair about this, and let's go a little bit into this. Valve has worked on a lot of things. All right, I'm sure Valve for the past 18 years has hinted at the fact that they've been working on Half-Life 3. Okay. Have we gotten a Half-Life 3 in the past couple of decades? No, we haven't. We've gotten Half-Life Alyx, but that doesn't count. That's not 3. So, it's Valve.
Seriously, they should have just called that 3. I mean, they should.
No, they shouldn't have, because I played it. It is not Half-Life 3 at all, but it is a good experience and a good prequel to Half-Life 3. It's just the sad part is I know I won't see Half-Life 3 until my grandkids have grandkids. So I'm dead. So yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, so no Steam Deck 2 this year. That's my first personal prediction. So Tyler, your first one for this year.
And please, dear Lord, make me right about this one. Web3, NFT, crypto, metaverse, all that bullshit. Oh, dang it. I did it. Heck nabbit. All right. So that stuff is going to see heavy regulation, and it's going to get more like just investigated by proper authorities, and people are going to lose interest in them, and we're not going to be talking about it or hearing about it by next year. Fingers
I
crossed.
think you had the first part of it right, but I think we'll probably still be hearing about it, but probably mostly only in the negative aspect. But that's basically happened already. Like,
Well,
when was
I'm thinking it's probably just going to be like, there's not going to be major news articles and headlines about it anymore, just because it won't be a thing that people do anymore. Like, I mean, also, can we just please acknowledge the fact that there is no way that 2 generations like away from now, they're going to look back at how idiotic the idea of people buying each other's JPEGs were. Like, there's no way.
if you need
No way.
any evidence whatsoever that Mac OS is based on BSD, your lips are out of sync. Like, there's all the proof you need to know that that's based on BSD. That's so good. I think I mostly agree. I do think that we will talk about it, but mostly negative. But if you think about it, like, that's already happened, because when was the last time you heard anything positive about crypto outside of the crypto bros? You know, like, everybody who's talking about it now. There's nobody bullish on it, or whatever it's called, whatever, you know. So I think that it'll just continue to get more and more negative as you say, more and more of the scammers are caught and prosecuted. And
we can all hope.
Hopeful. Like, I made a comment in my video yesterday about their fake money. like that's what it is. Most of it's fake money. Like, somebody came back to me, like, Bitcoin's real. Like, okay, honestly, here this is a dumb conversation for me to have, but if crypto had just stayed at Bitcoin, like if it just been Bitcoin and there was nothing else, they didn't start with these weird like markets or whatever where you could trade Bitcoin, or which are all Ponzi scams, by the way, every single one of them, and they didn't come out with all these damn it YouTube shit coins. If Dogecoin had never existed, like all that stuff, crypto would have been just fine. It still would have been very niche, and very unstable. Like, they would have been going up and down. There goes Tyler. He just walked away. Please make NFT. Yeah. But anyways, I think if it was just Bitcoin, it probably would have been just fine. But I still think that, it would have been a very niche product.
Couldn't agree more. Sorry, I had to get up and let the dogs out.
Well, your dogs are leaving. My dog's over there doing what dogs do. Hi. I said I talked to her, so she came to come say hello. How you doing? They want to see you on camera. You come up here? You come up here? No. All right. She doesn't listen to me. She'll jump on me when I don't want her to do it. Anyways. Yeah. All right, moving on to my next one. So this is the vaguest prediction I've ever given, but I was gonna say Microsoft is gonna buy Canonical, but that's not gonna happen. So my prediction is Microsoft will buy something big in the Linux world this year. Whether that is Canonical or something else, I'm not sure what, but it's gonna be something big. They're gonna buy it, similar to the GitHub acquisition, right? They're gonna buy something big that has to do with open source this year. And it's gonna, just like GitHub did, piss everybody off because it's Microsoft. And like I said, I don't know what it's gonna be, so that's the reason why it's vague. But it's gonna be something, because I don't think Like, we know that IBM is failing, right? Like, I don't know if you've read any of this stuff, but IBM itself is not doing all that great in terms of like its vision for the future. But Red Hat continues to prop that company up. And while Microsoft obviously is not having any problems making money, I do think that they look at that and think that, you know, maybe buying a open source cloud company like, I don't know, Canonical would be a good idea. So I think that that's probably going to happen, but I don't think it's going to be. It's probably not going to be Canonical, but it's going to be something different. It'll be something big. So that'll be interesting to see. Everybody hates Microsoft, by the way. Like, everybody hates Microsoft.
Yes.
Yeah. So, your next one.
My next one is that I will be streaming on YouTube every single day this year for 4 hours. Every day.
Starting when?
Today. But the schedule will be posted tomorrow. So,
okay.
Yeah.
If you miss one day, you're wrong, by the
way. And also, just so you guys know how like serious I am about getting back and doing all my YouTube stuff properly. I also need to get with you about I want to host my own website similar to the way yours is set up, Matt. Like, I kind of like yours. It's more text based and like seems like it's kind of simple to manage and set up.
Okay, so I will point you towards J Dog. He will I'll get you set up because he set it up for me.
Word. Okay.
Because he wrote a script where all I have to do is run the script. It will update the site. It's fantastic. And everything else is written in Markdown. Yes, Tyler said he's going to stream again, and not only stream again, but he's going to do it today for 4 hours. So what is the topic of this mythical stream?
Well, this one this one I'm just going to be just chat. Like, I've already got it scheduled so people can see it. I'll post it on Discord and I'll post it in your Discord too.
I'm going to look. I don't believe you.
Yeah, no, it's actually scheduled. I swear to God. But it's scheduled for at 6. I think it's 5:30 or 6 o'clock my time. Yeah, 5:30 my time. But anyway, I'm just gonna be like watching YouTube. I told you.
Yo, look at this! It's there.
I'm actually gonna be back. I swear. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna be watching videos and then messing around on Mac OS, like just chatting, whatever people in chat want to see me do.
I want Zero AD streams back. That's what I would like to see. Is you play some Zero AD. I'll even come play with you.
Look, if that's what people want, and assuming you're in chat and you want that, we can do that.
It won't be today, but I'm just saying in the future, Zero AD. I'd love to see that come back because that was fun. Even though I was bad at it the one time I played. So
it's totally fine. I'll give you a fair chance.
No, you won't.
All right. I totally won't. I totally will not stack the odds.
You are
in my favor.
ruthless man.
Really am. Now, I will say one other thing though. I am very excited to see your next prediction. All right, just saying. I know you're about to get into it, so I'm very excited to see this one come true and it be good. I want it to be good when it gets implemented.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, so my last one is that we'll see classic window managers, classic tiling window managers, classic floating window managers move to Wayland this year, or at least begin to make plans to do so. So, and when I talk about classic ones, I'm not talking about new things like Hyperland or Sway. I'm talking about like things like BSPWM, DWM, OpenBox, things like that. Now, there are some that already have done this. Like Qtile already has a Wayland implementation. So that's already happened. The one that I'm the most interested in, and I'm not talking about forks either. Like, I'm not, like, DWM has a fork that does Wayland called DWL. I've heard that it's awful. So I don't know whether that's true or not, but I'm more interested to see what the actual window manager teams do when it comes to Wayland. Now, it's possible, like I would see like OpenBox do something. I mean, like OpenBox moves really, really slow, but so do the others. Like that's the thing about the classic window managers is that they move really, really slow. I don't honestly. It's possible that BSPWM has been abandoned. And the reason why I say that is because I don't think they have had a commit in like a year and a half. I may be wrong about that. I may have just made that up in my mind, but I believe I saw that the last commit for them at least was a long time ago. So it's possible that that won't happen for BSPWM. I know DWM. So you know this, right? You've used DWM before. They were on version 6.2 forever, right?
Oh my God, forever.
It was for a long time. Ever. They're at 6.4 now. Like they moved from 6.3, which was just a version number bump. That's all. There was no new features for 6.3, but they almost immediately moved to 6.4. Like I didn't know because I mean they have a mailing list, but I don't follow it, so I didn't really know. But
come on, let's be honest. Who follows the DWM mailing list?
I kind of want to now because apparently it's exciting. It's where it's all at now, right? They keep moving up versions, right? Like are we gonna get to see 7 by the end of the year?
Well, but that's the funny part. Like most of the like version by version change, like the changes are normally so little, if even a change.
Well, that's absolutely true, and I'm sure 6.4 wasn't like some major like release or whatever. But the fact that they moved a version number so soon after going to 6.3 it blew my mind because 6.2 was there for years, right? I think it came out in like 2018 or something like that. It's some crazy long ago year from here, right? That 6.2 came out, and then like 4 or 5 months ago, 6.3 was there, and it was just a version bump. And then the other day, I was watching Linux Dabbler do something with DWM, and he was like, "I'm going to install version 6.4." I was like, "What? 6.4?"
Well, I mean, like, it very well could be that like Suckless is like an actual like they're a team of like vampires, like software vampires. Like they come out of like hibernation once every few years and they just cram a whole bunch of versions out. They do a whole bunch of like, small medial work. Cause I mean, you can't do much with 2,000 lines of code. Like, let's be real. So you like, do a little bit of stuff and then they pass out. They go back to sleep for, and hibernate for another 3 years. Very well could be what they do.
I think you just compared them to locusts. I'm pretty sure you did.
I was trying to stick with a vampire analogy, but locust is a little bit more.
Honestly, of my 3 predictions, this is the one that I'm pretty sure I'm going to get 100% wrong because those window managers, especially the 3 that I named, move so slowly. They make XFCE look like a highly developed project. I mean, so I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever to find myself be completely wrong on either of these things on this one here. So it'd be interesting to see that I'm not, but it'd be if I had to hedge my bet, I would say that it's more likely that we'll see forks of these that take off than the actual window managers themselves implementing Wayland. But my prediction is that one of them will. So we'll see. I don't know. And like I said, that's my least confident one. So, Tyler, your third one.
My third and final prediction is AI and Linux will become a big part of small businesses' success, which I think is kind of already starting to happen. But I made the prediction. Hopefully, it's something that like does end up being more true for the majority of small businesses, and start seeing a lot of smaller businesses like actually able to compete because of AI. Like a good example, AI and Linux, because I mean, like I'm part of a new small startup and we're using Linux. Like we'll have our Linux server that runs our software, and then we have just one artist, and we're going to be augmenting his work with some AI art that, I mean, dude, I've been getting into AI art, and it's actually like, it is phenomenal what it can do. Like, it is crazy. It's very good. But yeah, I think we're going to start seeing that in a lot of smaller businesses. And
I can't believe how fast GPT has taken off. Like that thing.
Yes. Dude, I actually use that for creating our softwares, getting its name. And like, it is remarkable how good it is. Like, wow.
All I'm saying is that someone needs to get Will Smith, have him just. We need to put the Chris Rock thing behind him. He needs to come save us from the inevitable iRobots. I'm just saying that thing is happening, and you're all crazy with the AI stuff. But if I had a bonus prediction, I would say that AI is going to be the next crypto.
Well, so. I agree with that, but only in the sense that it's a new emerging technology. I don't think AI is going to be nearly as filled with scams as it is with.
I read this the other day. The Bing software or the Bing search engine is going to start using Chat GPT for their searches, right? And I've watched some of the videos on Chat GPT. Sometimes it's very, very wrong. Like it's phenomenal how right it is sometimes, but also it can be very, very wrong. And it's very confident when it's wrong, right? Like it will tell you confidently that it's wrong sometimes, right?
But we do have to be on. All right, like let's level the playing field here. Let's be completely honest. All right. If Chat GPT integrates in with Bing might actually be usable. Like, look, Chat GPT can be wrong, but it will probably be wrong
also
far less than Bing.
Out of date, right? The last update to Chat GPT's data set was in December, and they do it like once every 6 months. So searching for anything that's, after December, not going to work until they do the next update on the data set. So I don't know.
But like, let's be honest, Bing probably doesn't update for like every 6 months.
The robots go out and search for robots.txt files just every 6 months or so. That's great. Okay. Eddie asks, Eddie, thanks for the super chat. He asks, I have always been a Linux Android guy, but I'm seeing more Linux folks with iPhones. Can you be a good Linux citizen and use an iPhone? What do you use? Well, I am on an Android phone, and I use Linux. Tyler is the biggest Apple fanboy now that you've ever seen in your life. He can't be a good Linux citizen because he doesn't even use Linux.
I do. I just, for personal use, I am much more of a. I lean towards convenience, especially now when it comes to like what I need to since I'm doing a lot with my sister's business and I'm constantly on the move taking care of dogs and doing all that stuff. Convenience is very important to me, and Macs are decently secure and very convenient. But that being said, Linux, look, Mac hardware is extremely expensive. It just is. Even the more cheaper things with their new Mac M1s, they're more affordable, but we're still talking $1,000. That's a lot of freaking money. You can do a lot of what Mac comes with out of the box in Linux with a few scripts that you can write up in 2 hours.
And KDE Connect.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of different solutions in Linux to have something that that's one of the reasons why I really enjoyed my Mac, is because it is really the only reason why I go with Macs now is just because of the integration with the iPhone, where I can get text and stuff on all my devices. That's really just about it. Really, in all honesty, Linux has pretty much every single, switching over to a Mac was very easy because of Linux. They have a lot of similarities, but Linux is honestly in its actual usability and ability to change the way that you interact with stuff, it's better. Like it just is. Surprisingly, Mac does have solutions. Like you can get window managers and stuff, but the solutions on Linux are far better.
That sounds like a really good idea for a stream, by the way, the window manager thing. I'd watch that. Anyways, Eddie, to go back to your question, can you be a good Linux citizen and use an iPhone? Yes, you can. Of course you can. If you are going to become a bad Linux citizen just because you use something proprietary, then I am also a bad Linux citizen because I use proprietary stuff all the time, including right now I'm using YouTube. You know, and I use Google Docs all the time for work. So, I
well, I mean, especially if you work remote or like run your own business or anything, like the odds that you're not going to have to use something proprietary for something is really low.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make you bad at like being part of the Linux community because you use something proprietary. And honestly, the people who tell you that you're a bad person or like not a real part of the Linux community because you use something that's proprietary, like just don't listen to those people. Like they're not all that put together themselves.
They're obviously the bad ones. Because like, look, use as much open source software as you possibly can, and then find the tool that works best for the job, even if it's not open source. It's just that's the way you got to live your life. You do the stuff that you can do when you can do it. And the thing is, guys, you know, we say Android is Linux, but Android has so much proprietary nonsense on top of it that it's not proprietary. I know we like saying that, oh, well, Linux runs the vast majority of phones in the universe, and technically true, it has the Linux kernel on there, but it's not really Linux. And the vast, like a lot of the brand new phones coming from the bigger manufacturers now are so locked down, you can't even put third-party ROMs on them anymore. Like Samsung, you can't root those things without them disabling the camera system. Like you can't do it. You could use
or just trying, like, especially if you're on like the big carrier in your country. Like normally, like because like my family, we're on Verizon, and Verizon is so locked down. Like any note that's like not from like 7-10 years ago, like the Samsung Note series, like they're all so locked down. You can't root them. You can't unlock, you can't do anything to those devices. And normally also, like it's also one of those things where it's hard to run a de-Googled phone when you're when you're doing professional work, because a lot of apps that you're going to be required to use
won't work.
Sadly, require them.
Well,
wait, what?
A lot of apps like that won't work on a rooted phone. Like if you want to do,
oh well, that's true. Yeah.
Anything. I mean, now there's a lot of professional apps like that, but there's also like if you want to do any banking on your device, you have to use this regular Google phone. It can't be rooted. They check for that. Like it just won't work. I mean, I'm sure there are exceptions out there, but for the most part, like I know my bank would not work on a rooted phone. That's why I haven't even attempted it. Now maybe when this device gets outdated and I move on to the next one or whatever, I'll play around with it. But as a main device, I don't think it's ever going to be possible. So just to go back to the question, of course you can, right? I mean, you can use whatever you want. If you use just Linux on one computer, you're still all right with me.
No.
So,
and actually someone in chat said, don't let DT hear this stream. And like, I will go ahead and defend Derek for a second. Like Derek constantly talks about proprietary software being garbage, but he's also never said nor ever implied that you're a terrible person for using proprietary software. He just disagrees with people making it. He's like, you shouldn't make it. Like, which that's a pretty good argument. Like I really don't disagree with him there. Most software probably should be open source.
Get a Pine phone. Everyone tells me, Matt, you gotta get a Pine phone. Gotta get a Pine phone and make it your regular phone. I've watched videos about the Pine phone and it looks fascinating. But guys, I'm not a gamer in regular life, but I use games on the phone, and none of those are on the Pi phone.
I wasn't gonna stop you, but the funny thing is as soon as you said Pi phone, like in my head, all I saw was you looking at a pine phone in your hand and going, "Where's the Clash of Clans?"
Exactly, man. How am I supposed to play Clash without Android or iPhone? Also, I downloaded Genshin Impact, so that's going to be something I want to get into playing. Plus, I mean, like Words with Friends is on there, and I've been doing the New York Times crossword puzzle on there. So, I do.
Dude, we are so bad because I've been playing Bloons Tower Defense like crazy lately.
I know it's such a good game.
It's so good.
It's a dig. Okay, so
Totally gone off the rails.
when I first got my iPhone, when the iPhone first came out with a app store, there was this mafia game. It was a turn-based like time game where you got stuff based on the time that passed. And that was before there was in-app purchases. So if you wanted to buy stuff for the game, you'd have to buy a new version of the game that had the gold that you wanted for the stuff. So I bought man, I must have spent hundreds of dollars on that game. It was nuts. I don't even remember what the game really was about. It was some mafia game. That's all I remember. But man, I've been a mobile gamer pretty much since that time. And that's the reason why I stick to, couldn't use a pine phone. If all I did was ever make phone calls, I'm sure it'd be fine. But I never make I never make phone calls. I mean, I don't do that. Anyways.
Now that you're opening up about your mobile gaming, I just have to ask you a question, and please answer with honesty. Have you played Diablo Immortal?
No.
Okay. Good. I just have to ask because, like, you're talking about spending money on a mobile game, and I just had to check to make sure, like, we didn't need to like get you help, save you financially from yourself.
No, and to be honest with you, I don't spend any money on in most of the games that I play now are 100% free to play, and about a year ago, I decided I was not going to spend any more money on in-app purchase. I used to spend a ton of money on Clash of Clans, Clash of
Clans.
Yeah, that's the one. Clash.
So hard to say.
Clash. I still can't say it. It's like I have a stroke. Clash of Clans. There we go. I used to spend I had to spend like hundreds of dollars on that game. Like spending around this time of year, they would. Like for $50 or $100, they give you all of this loot, right? I mean, it's like tons of stuff, and you could like almost upgrade your entire base on that one purchase. And it's like normally that stuff's like $300, and it's like $100. Like, hey, you're saving some money. No.
See, this is the problem with mobile gaming. They do this shit to you.
Yeah,
where they're like,
it's horrible.
Like, I mean, you'd be dumb not to. Like, I mean, it's $300 worth of stuff, like, because that's how Diablo Immortal gets a whole bunch of people, because they're like, here's $150 worth of loot, but it's available for $15. But they do that to you like 40 times in a week.
And I always knew as I was doing it that it was dumb. Like, I knew that I really shouldn't be spending money on it, but I couldn't help it. It was an addiction, and I wanted my base to be really cool. But I've gotten past that. I don't buy in-app purchases anymore, like at all. So, the thing is like I don't, and that's fine. It's just gotten to the point now where if it's free to play, I can do perfectly fine free to play. Oh, the one thing I was gonna say is, like, if you guys ever want to see somebody who spends a lot of money on Clash of Clans. There's a guy on YouTube who does Clash of Clans content, and he makes, I mean, he buys every single deal that they ever have in the store. Like, he spends probably tens of thousands of dollars, but he has like 3 million subscribers or some nonsense, and each of his videos gets 100 or 200,000 views. So he's making all of his money back. Me, I didn't spend nearly that much, but still. I wasn't making it back on YouTube content, so.
Yeah, but it's still so
is that
money.
Wait a minute? Is that true? Diablo Immortal costs players $110,000 to fully upgrade a character. Is that true?
Oh yeah, no, it's super expensive. Well, it can cost that much when it's like when we're talking about fully upgrading, like you get everything for a character. yeah, it can definitely cost out that. Like, I mean, I know there's plenty of players, like plenty of Diablo Immortal players who have spent like $40,000 on the game easy.
That's nuts. I mean, insane. Diablo as in Diablo from the same
Yeah,
guys who
like
did
Diablo 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So even with all the Activision Blizzard nonsense that everybody hates that company now, they're still spending all the money in their mobile game. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. So we went way off the rails there. Thank
We
you.
did.
We can blame it on Eddie, but also thank you for the super chat. It was a good discussion.
Mm.
Okay. I should say I don't know if I think I got this after the last show. I don't know if I talked about this, but did I talk about getting the Pixel 7? Did I talk about all the nonsense I had to deal with the OnePlus 10 Pro that I had? I had to send that back and end up with a Pixel 7. Yeah, so I've been using this now for 2 or 3 weeks. It's a fantastic phone, by the way. Also, pro tip, I did this on Mastodon the other day, but if you don't have an iPhone like some of us here, and you want the fantastic MagSafe stuff, they make cases for Android phones that have MagSafe in the back. And then you can use all the MagSafe accessories that Apple has, including, docks and stuff like that. So there are also like pop sockets and stuff that go along with them. So yeah, the if you're on Android and you have been looking at the MagSafe stuff enviously, they do make cases for most of the modern phones that have magnetic like rings in them. And if you can't find a case that has one, they actually make little magnets you can put in your existing case. They'll work. So, yeah, good stuff. I have two MagSafe cases now, and they're awesome. Like, they're so good. Now I don't have to go to iPhone ever again because I don't have to be envious. I have it. I'm good. Thanks.
Well, that's good for you.
I just got patted on the head. All right, moving on to the last part of the episode, and that is the thingies of the week. Now, the thingies of the week, for those of you who don't know, if you're a first-time listener or whatever, is a section where we come up with things that we want to suggest or things that we found that we've enjoyed. We could have named this section anything else. The template still says apps of the week, by the way. Never going to change it, but it's just never going to get changed. 10 years from now, it's still going to say apps of the week, even though it's not, nor has it ever been called that. But we call it thingies of the week. Get your mind out of the gutter. Tyler, what is your thingy of the week this week?
Mine is Kitty. I would hope that most people who watch your channel and used to watch my channel would know Kitty. It's a absolutely killer terminal. It's fantastic. It's GPU accelerated. It works on everything. Like I'm pretty sure you can get Kitty on Windows too. Like you can get it on Windows, Mac, Linux, BSD. Like it's everywhere. It's a phenomenal terminal. Like it just really is. I freaking love Kitty. And one of the things that I really like about Kitty on Mac OS is it actually has in the config file, you can set it so that you can actually change the Mac OS title bar color to match the background of your terminal and stuff, which is actually just really nice.
That's cool.
It's fantastic.
So you didn't know this, but I'm switching to Kitty actually. I've downloaded it. I haven't messed around with it yet, but you know about Uberzug?
Yes, I do.
So they've abandoned that project, right? They've been pulled it down, like it's gone. Mm-hmm. And there is a copper repo for Fedora, but it will not build. So that was the image preview thing I was using for Ranger, and so now I've had to look for something different. Now, the Ranger does have W3M support, but it is so slow. Also, if you take the window out of focus, the image disappears. So that's annoying as hell. But apparently, Kitty has built-in image support for Ranger. It gets built in. So that's the reason why I'm switching to Kitty. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but that's next on the list of things to do. So it should be fun.
You'll like it. I cannot recommend Kitty enough as a terminal. It's so good. Like, it really is. Because I checked out Kitty after I heard Alacrity was like not going to get support or whatever. Like there was just issues going on with Alacrity, and so I gave Kitty a try. And at first, I was like, I don't know that I'm going to like this, and it was probably like within 20 minutes of starting to use it, where I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like the config file is super simple. It's fast. It's a really great terminal.
So
and also, this is a very minor detail that most people won't care about, but they actually have a phenomenal logo and like app. Like their design for the app logo and everything it's actually really good. Like really good by itself.
terminal logos are notoriously bad.
Exactly. And so
it's
having a
really
good
bad.
one is like it's phenomenal.
Like
I mean,
they either go with the logo of just like the like the greater than sign and the underscore. That's usually the thing, or they do what Alacrity did. Like Alacrity has this like really weird like console looking thing. It's really ugly.
Yeah.
All right, moving. So my thingy of the week is something also in the terminal. It's called Kickstart Vim, and I've put a link in the show notes. Basically what this will do, so I've been resisting moving my nvim configuration from Vim script to Lua. I've been resisting it because I can't stand Lua. I've talked about this several times. It's a toss-up on any given day on what language I dislike more, Lua or Haskell. It's almost usually Haskell, but Lua is like a close second. I don't like it. I don't care for the way it works and the way things are laid out, but I've been using Awesome Window Manager off and on various computers for a review, so I've been using Lua more. So I figured it's about time I decided to move my nvim configuration to Lua. The thing is, and you guys know this, and I proclaim it loudly and proudly, I'm a lazy bastard. Okay, I do not want to do this thing myself. So I googled on YouTube's moving to your config to Lua. There's not really a good way to do your config to Lua, but someone who actually develops NeoVim created a script. It's basically just it's an init.lua file. That's all you gotta do is you put it on your machine in the proper place, and it will run Packer at the beginning and install all the stuff that you need to do, and then bam, you have a configuration file, a very simple configuration file built in Lua with some fairly sane plugins. Things, I mean, it is geared toward developers, so if you're not needing anything like Telescope or Tree Sitter or anything like that, you're probably not going to be happy with this because it's going to be too much for you. But given the fact that I'm going to be starting to develop some stuff in Python, I figured, what the hell, I'll just have this stuff built in. Anyways, it was astonishingly simple. It's like 600 or 700 lines, so it's not like a huge configuration file. And I will also link to the video description, or the video that went along with the kickstart.vim or nvim. And the guy who developed it walks you through every single part of the configuration file, so you know exactly what each part does, which is the best part, because I'm a dumbass, so it was much easier to, just do and actually understand. Also, Hooflung, I'm sorry, I just Haskell, and it's okay that you like it. I just dislike it. I can't get my head around it. I'm too dumb for Haskell. I say this all the time. I'm just too much of an idiot to understand Haskell. Can't help it.
And I just won't put in the time for it.
There's too many brackets and question marks and plus signs and stuff like that mean absolutely nothing to me. So yeah, that's my problem. And it's always me a problem. Anyways, that's it for this episode. We did make it over an hour. If we'd stopped right after the predictions, we would have been done in like 50 minutes. But we BS'd for a little while. But that's it. So that is it for this episode. Before I go, I should take a moment to thank my current patrons, if I can do so. Remember how to do that. You can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/LinuxCast. Thanks to everybody who does support me on Patreon and YouTube. You guys are all absolutely amazing. It's seriously, without you, the channel just would not be anywhere near where it is right now. So thanks so much for your support on Patreon. Also, if you left a super chat, I think I thanked everybody who did leave with their super chat. So I super appreciate the super chats. on YouTube as on the live stream. We record this live every Friday at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to watch live, youtube.com/LinuxCast. We'll see you next week where we will. Every week I have some kind of mental issue at the end. We'll see you next week. It's horrible.
It's all good, man. Bye.